My dear chosen one, what if I told you that the battles you've been fighting weren't truly yours? That long before you took your first breath, a curse was placed upon your bloodline, a spiritual seal meant to silence the promise that runs in your veins? This is not fiction. This is not symbolism. This is a truth your soul has always felt, but couldn't explain. For 300 years, invisible chains tried to keep your family bound to patterns of failure, heartbreak, and unseen sabotage. And yet, the seal was revealed. The moment you were born, heaven already marked the time when you would rise to break what your ancestors could not. You need to hear this now, chosen one, because time is up for that ancient curse. The seal didn't come to light by accident. It was exposed because your spirit is ready to see, to confront, to liberate. Don't look away. Don't dismiss these words as coincidence. The enemy's greatest fear is that you might remember who you are and why you were born at this exact moment in history. Every door that shut in your face, every betrayal that shook your heart, it was the echo of a battle that started long before you, but that heaven chose you to end. Stay here, because what I am about to share could change the direction of your soul's journey forever. What was hidden in the shadows is coming to light. What your bloodline endured in silence, you are about to expose and destroy with the authority given to you by the Most High. In this video, you'll discover why the seal was hidden for so long, what it truly means now that it's revealed, and how your awakening was part of the plan from the beginning. Before we continue, let your spirit claim this truth. Leave your like, subscribe, and write in the comments, "I break the chain," so that the universe and heaven witness your declaration today. Stay until the end, because what you'll hear might just be the key that unlocks your freedom and the freedom of generations to come. My dear chosen one, long before you were born, a decision was made in desperation, a decision that chained your bloodline for centuries. Imagine an ancestor standing at the edge of ruin, perhaps facing famine, war, or betrayal, and in that moment, making a dark pact for survival. But what seemed like salvation became a prison for every soul that came after. The enemy seized that opportunity to seal your family's destiny, binding it to cycles of loss and sorrow. And yet, here you are, the one born to expose what was hidden and break what no one else could. Look closely at your life and the lives of those before you. Have you seen patterns that repeat without reason? Families torn apart, dreams shattered at the edge of fulfillment, doors that should have opened, mysteriously shut. This is how the curse worked, silently weaving through generations, making failure seem normal, making heartbreak seem inevitable. But deep down, your soul always felt the weight. That's why you've questioned, why you've felt out of place, why you've searched for answers no one around you seemed to see. The enemy was cunning, chosen one. The seal wasn't meant to be visible, because if it were, someone might have broken it long ago. Instead, it hid in the everyday struggles, in the small defeats that drained hope, in the constant feeling of being blocked without cause. The greatest trick of this ancient curse was to convince your family that this was simply life, that they weren't cursed, just unlucky. But the Most High has shattered that illusion for you. That's why you're hearing this now. When heaven starts to reveal the seal, the signs become impossible to ignore. Maybe you've had dreams, visions of chains breaking, of doors opening, of ancestors watching as you rise. Maybe attacks in your life have intensified lately, as if something is fighting harder to hold you down. That's because the exposure of the seal is not just a revelation. It's a declaration of war against the forces that thought they could keep your family bound forever. And now you see it, don't you? This was never just about your individual struggles. The weight you've carried, the heaviness in your heart, the betrayals and setbacks, they were echoes of a battle that began long before you. You were born into the battlefield, but not as a victim. You were born as heaven's answer to a prayer that generations before you couldn't even speak. Your mission is greater than you imagined. Every pain, every blocked path, every tear you've shed, they were not meaningless. They were the invitation for you to look deeper, to realize that what seemed like personal suffering was a doorway into divine purpose. The seal revealed itself to you because you're ready. Ready to stop surviving and start breaking chains. Ready to turn pain into power. Ready to be what no one else before you could be, the breaker of the cycle. So, don't fear the seal's revelation. Don't let the enemy twist this truth into despair. The seal's exposure is proof that the curse's time is up. It's not your doom, it's your signal. The time for hiding is over. The time for generational healing is here. And with every step you take in truth, you're not just freeing yourself, you're freeing those who came before you and those who will come after. The enemy never gives up easily when a chosen one starts to awaken. That's why, as you begin to see the truth, you might feel the pressure around you increase. Suddenly, battles come from directions you never expected. People you trusted turn cold. Situations that felt stable start to shake. And even your mind becomes a battlefield of doubts and fears. This is not because you're doing something wrong. It's because you're getting close to breaking what the enemy fought for centuries to protect. The curse was designed to keep you asleep, but now that you are awake, the forces that thrived in your family's pain are doing everything they can to pull you back into darkness. You might notice that even those closest to you begin to act differently. Friends, partners, family members, their words cut deeper. Their actions confuse you. Their loyalty seems to waver at the worst moments. This is not by chance. The enemy knows that isolation weakens the spirit. He hopes that by turning others against you, he can make you question your worth, your mission, your strength. But hear me, chosen one. The more isolated you feel, the closer you are to your breakthrough. Because it is in that quiet space, when no one else stands beside you, that you will hear God's voice the clearest. The isolation is a tactic, a last-ditch effort by the enemy to make you give up before the victory is complete. But what the enemy didn't expect is that this isolation would actually draw you closer to the Most High, because in the absence of human comfort, you will find divine presence. You'll start to feel a strength rising inside you that no person gave and no person can take away. And that strength will be what carries you through this final stretch. The seal's exposure wasn't meant to crush you. It was meant to set you free. And the freedom begins in the hidden place, where you and God meet without distractions. You'll notice that as you lean into this process, your hunger for truth grows. You'll find yourself seeking out answers, praying deeper prayers, meditating with clearer focus, studying scriptures that suddenly seem to speak directly to your soul. This isn't by accident. The revelation of the seal is heaven's invitation for you to engage, to step into active participation in your freedom. No longer will you be a passive recipient of generational pain. You will become the breaker of chains, the one who reclaims what was stolen. And as you seek, you will find. As you knock, the door will open, and as you search, you'll begin to notice signs you missed before. You'll see how God has been speaking to you through moments, through people, through dreams that seemed random, but were actually pieces of the puzzle. The seal was never hidden from God. It was hidden for you, kept in place until the appointed time. And now that time has come. You'll feel it in your spirit. That deep knowing that the battle is shifting, that what was once against you is losing its power. The enemy's hold is breaking, and the seal's cracks are growing wider with each truth you embrace. The true power of the chosen one begins to rise the moment they stop seeing themselves as victims of circumstance and start seeing themselves as agents of divine change. You were not sent into this bloodline by accident. You were sent as the answer, as the fulfillment of the prayers of those who came before you, as the breaker of a cycle that seemed unbreakable. And with each day, each prayer, each courageous step forward, the chains lose their strength. The seal that once imprisoned your family now becomes the mark of your authority, to end what should have never begun. Let this truth sink deeply into your spirit. Chosen one, the exposure of the seal is not your defeat. It is your commissioning. It is the moment heaven declares that what held you and your family captive has reached its end. Do not fear the battle that comes with this knowledge. The enemy will try to intimidate you, but the Most High has already equipped you for this. The seal's revelation is the signal that you were chosen not just to survive, but to set generations free. And as you walk this path, you will feel the weight begin to lift. You will see with new eyes. You will stand taller, stronger, and freer than you ever imagined. As the seal's presence becomes clearer in your spirit, the enemy grows desperate. He launches his strongest attacks now, not with visible chains, but with subtle weapons: confusion, discouragement, overwhelming fatigue, sudden storms in relationships, unexpected losses. These are the tactics meant to make you question your calling. The enemy hopes that if he can shake your confidence, you'll turn back, you'll doubt, you'll retreat. But hear me clearly. These are the death throes of a curse that knows its time is over. The intensity of the battle is the sign that the breakthrough is near. Don't let the storm convince you that God is absent. The storm is proof that God is moving. In these moments, chosen one, you will feel the weight of generations pressing on your shoulders. But you must remember, this weight was never meant to crush you. It was meant to awaken you. It was meant to remind you that you carry not just your own story, but the hopes of those who came before. When you feel that heaviness, don't sink into despair. Instead, lift your eyes. Call on the Most High, because every tear you shed, every cry that escapes your lips, reaches heaven like thunder. And heaven responds to the cry of a chosen one who dares to stand where others fell. Now you begin to see. This seal that once represented bondage now reveals your authority. The very thing the enemy used to silence your bloodline is what will now announce your liberation. You'll notice that as you embrace this truth, your spiritual vision sharpens. You'll discern the traps that once caught you. You'll see the schemes that once confused you, and you'll step around them with wisdom, guided by the light of truth. The enemy's power was always in your ignorance. Now that you know, that power is crumbling beneath your feet. Prayer becomes your weapon now, more powerful than ever before. When you speak, speak with the authority of one who knows their position. Declare freedom over your bloodline. Speak life where death tried to reign. Call down the promises of God over every area that once felt cursed. Your words, aligned with heaven's will break what the enemy fought to preserve. The seal is revealed so that your voice can shatter what silence sustained. The generations before you may have wept in chains, but you will rejoice in freedom. But don't be surprised, chosen one, when the enemy makes one final move. When confusion tries to cloud your mind, when old temptations resurface, when fear tries to grip your heart, these are not signs of failure. They are signs of the final struggle, the last attempt to hold on to what is slipping from his grasp. You must stand firm. Remember who you are. Remember who sent you. Remember the authority that covers you. The curse only thrived because of hiddenness. Now that it is exposed, it is powerless, unless you give it power again by forgetting who you are. And as you stand, you will feel the shift. You will sense the seal breaking in the spirit before you see the full results in the natural. This is how heaven works. Victory happens first in the unseen, and then it manifests before your eyes. Trust the process. Trust the timing. Know that the Most High finishes what He starts, and if He revealed the seal to you, He has already prepared the victory. You are not waiting for victory to be decided. You are walking out a victory that has already been decreed. Then comes the peace, the kind of peace that generations before you longed for but never knew. It will start quietly. Small doors will open where before there were only walls. Relationships will heal. Opportunities will appear. And you'll look back and realize the curse that ruled for centuries ended because you chose to see, to believe, to act. And as you step forward, that peace will multiply, not just for you, but for those who walk in your footsteps. The chain ends with you. The new beginning starts now. The deeper you walk into this truth, the more you will understand that this was never just about breaking a curse. It was about stepping fully into your purpose. The curse tried to block that purpose, tried to keep you small, silent, hidden. But now that the seal is revealed, the path is clear. Not always easy, but clear. You will begin to see your life not as a series of unfortunate events, but as the training ground for this exact moment. Every heartbreak, every setback, every silent battle prepared you for this calling. You are the fulfillment of promises made long before your time, and you were always meant to rise. With this understanding comes a sacred responsibility. You are not just free for yourself, you are free to help free others. Your words, your choices, your light will be a map for those still lost in the darkness you've escaped. The enemy fears this more than anything, not just that you would find freedom, but that you would lead others to it. That is why your attacks were so fierce, why the isolation was so heavy, because your awakening threatens to unravel what the enemy has worked for centuries to build. And that is why you must walk forward boldly, knowing that your victory is victory for many. Your heart will change as the weight lifts. Compassion will rise where pain once ruled. You'll see people differently, even those who wronged you. You'll recognize that they too are caught in battles they don't fully understand. And you'll choose mercy, not because they deserve it, but because mercy is stronger than any curse. This is the mark of a true chosen one who breaks chains not just in the spirit, but in the heart. And as you choose this higher path, you will find that no attack can touch the soul that walks in truth and love. You will also notice that your vision for the future sharpens. Dreams that felt impossible now feel within reach. Ideas flow. Doors open. The same energy that was once used to survive now fuels creation, purpose, mission. And as you build, you will do so not for your glory, but for the glory of the one who sent you. Every step, every word, every act will carry the weight of divine intention. The curse tried to steal your future. Now you reclaim it, step by step, with power and grace. The enemy will still try to whisper lies, that the curse isn't really broken, that you're imagining your freedom, that it's only a matter of time before the old patterns return. But you will recognize those lies for what they are, the desperate voices of defeat. You will no longer be fooled. Your discernment will be sharper, your spirit stronger. You will walk with authority, knowing that the chains are shattered, and that no force of darkness can rebind what God has set free. As you move in this new strength, you will begin to restore what was lost. Relationships damaged by the curse's influence will find healing. Opportunities once blocked will now flow. Generational wounds will begin to close as your life becomes a testimony of what happens when a chosen one remembers who they are. And those who watch you will see not just your transformation, but the hand of God at work in your life. This is how curses are broken, not just in private battles, but in public victories that give hope to others. And in this process, you will realize that the past no longer defines you. The pain, the failures, the broken dreams, they were chapters, not your whole story. Now you write a new chapter, one of restoration, redemption, and purpose fulfilled. You will no longer carry the identity of the wounded, but of the warrior healed. And as you live this truth, you will inspire others to seek their own freedom. The chain didn't just break for you, it broke so that light could flood places long held in darkness. As you continue walking this path of liberation, something powerful begins to happen deep within your spirit. You no longer see yourself as a survivor of the curse. You see yourself as the answer God sent into your bloodline. This shift changes everything. You stop asking, "Why did this happen to me?" and start declaring, "I was born for this." That inner declaration silences the enemy more effectively than any external battle. Because the moment you understand that your birth was a divine strategy to end what began 300 years ago, you walk in a boldness that no demon can challenge. You become untouchable, not because life is easy, but because you know your mission. With this revelation, you'll start to see the ripple effects of your awakening. Where once there was tension in your family, peace will begin to take root. Where there was endless striving, there will be divine alignment. It won't all happen overnight, but the signs will come, and they will encourage you to keep going. The enemy's grip weakens with every truth you embrace, and what he tried to build on generations of lies starts to crumble under the weight of your obedience. You'll see the fruit of your courage, not just in your own life, but in the lives of those around you who begin to believe that freedom is possible because they saw it in you first. This is where the philosophical depth of your mission unfolds. You realize that curses, at their core, are agreements made in ignorance or desperation, and that every agreement can be broken by the power of truth. The curse thrived on silence. Your freedom thrives on revelation. And revelation leads to responsibility, to walk differently, speak differently, build differently. The chosen one is not free to return to old patterns. The chosen one is called to create new patterns, new legacies, new paths where none existed before. And as you walk this, the enemy has no choice but to retreat. Every step forward is a declaration that the curse is over. When you choose peace over strife, forgiveness over revenge, faith over fear, you are breaking chains. The curse tried to keep your bloodline in cycles of destruction. Now, through your choices, you establish cycles of life, of healing, of blessing. The work isn't always easy, but it is sacred, and every moment you stand in truth, you are rewriting the story of your family. You are proving that what bound the past has no power over the future. God is building through you. And what of the enemy now? He fears you, chosen one, not because of what you have done alone, but because of what your freedom represents. You are a signal to others, a testimony that the power of the Most High always prevails. Where darkness ruled, light now shines. Where hopelessness reigned, purpose now flourishes. The enemy knows that your awakening sparks a chain reaction that no force of hell can stop. That is why the attacks felt so personal, so relentless. But now you see the truth. The intensity of the battle was confirmation of the greatness of your calling. You will notice that restoration flows in waves. First, it touches your inner world, your mind, your heart, your peace. Then it moves outward, your relationships, your work, your community, and as it moves, it draws others into the light. People will come to you, not even knowing why at first, drawn by the peace and authority you carry. You become, without trying, a vessel of hope, a beacon of what is possible when a soul dares to believe that God's promises are stronger than any ancient curse. And in that, you fulfill the higher purpose of your awakening. Finally, chosen one, you will begin to live in the fullness of what it means to be free. No longer driven by fear of repeating the past, you will be led by the vision of building a future that reflects the heart of God. Your choices will no longer be reactions to pain, but intentional steps toward destiny. And in every step, you will feel the weight of the curse fall away, replaced by the lightness of grace. The enemy thought the curse would define your bloodline forever, but through you, the Most High has written a new definition: redeemed, restored, unstoppable. Now comes the time of rebuilding. Chosen one. After the chains fall, after the battle quiets, there is a sacred stillness, and in that stillness, you are called to create. This is where the true work begins. Not just breaking what was wrong, but building what is right. You will feel the Spirit of the Most High guiding you, whispering new visions into your heart. Ideas that once felt impossible now feel urgent. Dreams that seemed too big now feel like divine assignments. And as you put your hands to the work, you will see that what the curse tried to destroy is now being restored, stronger than ever, under God's protection. You'll find that relationships start to heal in ways you never expected. Conversations that once ended in pain now open into understanding. People who were part of your struggle may not fully grasp what has changed, but they will feel it. They will sense the peace, the strength, the clarity that flows from you, and it will stir something in them. Not every relationship will be restored. Some were meant only for a season, but those that align with your destiny will grow deeper, stronger, more real. This is the fruit of the seals breaking. True connection, born from truth and grace. And as you walk forward, you will see the enemy's schemes fall apart. The places where he once had influence in your mind, your emotions, your decisions, they will lose their grip. The lies that once felt so convincing will sound hollow. The traps that once ensnared you will become obvious, easy to avoid. This is the power of awakening. The battle may have been long, but the victory is sweet, and it brings a clarity that cannot be taken from you. What you see now, you cannot unsee. What you know now, you cannot unknow. The curse tried to blind you. The truth has opened your eyes forever. Let your life be a testimony, chosen one. Let the generations after you look back and say, "It ended with them." The curse was broken because they chose to see. They chose to believe. They chose to act. This is your legacy. This is what the Most High entrusted to you. Not just freedom for yourself, but a new inheritance for all who come after. The chain that held your bloodline for 300 years ends with you. And what begins with you is a legacy of light, of truth, of divine purpose fulfilled. And if ever you doubt, if ever the enemy tries to whisper that the old patterns will return, remember this. The seal was revealed because heaven decreed the end. The exposure of the seal was not a threat. It was a promise that what once ruled over your bloodline no longer has power. A promise that you are covered, guided, and equipped. A promise that the Most High finishes what He starts. And He started something in you that will echo through eternity. Before we close, I want you to declare your freedom in the comments. Write, "The chain ends with me. Let heaven see it. Let the universe echo it. Let the enemy tremble at it." And if this truth has touched your spirit today, leave your like, subscribe to this channel, and activate the notification bell so you never miss these messages meant for your soul's journey. Share this with someone you know is also breaking chains. Your voice could be the spark that ignites their freedom. I want to thank deeply all who support us through Buy Me a Coffee. Your kindness helps us keep bringing these truths, these spiritual weapons, to all the chosen ones out there. If you feel led to support, the link is in the first pinned comment. And before you go, I invite you to watch the video on the screen or explore our playlist. Keep feeding your spirit, keep walking in truth, and never forget, you were born to break the chain, and nothing can stop what God has begun in you.